is now.
It is recording.
Welcome to Keys to the Jet podcast. I'm your host, Blackbeard. Along with me, we have
Red, I'm here.
And Rhino, we're sick.
And Chyper.
Yes. Yes, we have a very special guest today on. She is my sister. And for those of you that don't know, she is the main reason I became a crew chief in the Air Force.
Dang, that's rad.
So we have Chyper. Here she is.
Woo! Welcome to the episode.
Welcome.
Today, I don't know what number it is. We're way behind. So it could be like 20 or 22 or 30. I don't know.
I think we're in the 20s somewhere.
11 teen.
So you obviously didn't get her badass skills as a mechanic, right? You're just kind of like, I'll just join, I guess.
Yeah.
Question.
I'll just join.
Question. Do you both have bow staff skills?
No, I do not.
No. Does she have bow staff skills?
No.
No. Dang. So how'd you get him
skills?
How'd you get him to join? Were you like, oh, dude, you get your name on the side of a jet, you get a ride, and then like it's really
well. First
cool.
off, before you even get there, tell us about you. What was your career? What did you do?
So I did 10 years in patrol and reconnaissance, and then I did 10 years in C-130s.
Ooh, trash haulers.
Well,
yeah.
The Navy C-130s, the main job is hauling the special forces around. So like our Pry 1 was SEALs, our Pry 2 would be like EOD and anybody, and then like the other thing we hauled around a lot was the animals, like the actual seals and dolphins. The Navy commissioned like seals and dolphins and all those types of people that detect mines for the ships. They like swim with the fleets and alert them to the mines.
So high priority trash.
Yeah.
Yes.
High priority trash. That's pretty cool.
Were they E models, H models?
They were T models.
T models.
Dang.
Something
Ooh, way out of your late.
Something Rhino doesn't know about.
You ain't never heard that before.
Well, wait, are they C-130s or are they P3s?
No, they're C-130Ts. The main purpose of them was tankers, but we did the job better than the Air Force, so they kicked us off that job.
Yeah.
And they were like, you guys can just use these to haul stuff now. You're not going to refuel with them.
Nice. Well, were they 4-blade props?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I grew up on. I grew up on E models, H models, and then to the J, and then I came over to the F-35.
Very cool.
Freaking Oscar the Grouch over here. I like trash. I love trash.
You know, you talk crap, but until you actually work that plane,
do.
It's a beautiful plane to work.
I mean, I worked on a trash hauler, sort of, right? A J-Star and AWACS. Are those trash haulers?
No.
Kind of. They're heavies, so I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yes, they are technically trash haulers, but they don't haul trash, right? Like your guys' stuff. But...
Different kind of trash, I guess.
Yeah, different kind of trash.
Just like bombers. They haul trash, but their trash goes boom.
ABM trash. And then like reconnaissance trash, I guess.
Well, awesome. So how did you convince Blackbeard to come out of his shell and join the military?
He graduated from high school. He didn't know what he wanted to do, I guess. And I told him the Air Force was like the military, but like recess and naps. So he was like all over it.
Yep.
Oh, that's so true. Especially now. Like they have timeout cards in basic now. That crap in air, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I always kind of knew I was going to join the military. And like she said, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't want to go to college. And she joined the Navy when I was in middle school, I think, probably. And she started working on planes and then told me how cool airplanes would be to work on. I think she kind of wanted me to go the heavy route, but I think it was in MEPS or after boot camp when I got to pick between heavies and fighters. Fighters sounded cooler, so I just went with that.
Yeah, only 2 types of aircraft, fighters and targets, boy. Woo!
That thing was
Alright.
such a sham when you pick, like you pick your bases or whatever what you could work on or like where you want to go. I picked it. They were like, oh, if you pick overseas, like they're hurting for people. I picked nothing but overseas. I didn't have one single stateside base on there, and I got Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah,
Because you love Bill Clinton.
I was surprised. I actually got my first pick.
Really?
Did you?
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, lucky. I got none. I got 0
Yeah.
picks.
It was weird.
I think my first one was England. So I wanted to go to Lakenheath and,
I want to go to Mildenhall.
work on the E-models over there, right? Because I was 15 guys. So they're like, do your dream sheet. All right. Well, I want to go to Lakenheath. Nope. I want to go to Japan. Nope. I want to go to Alaska. Nope. I want to go to Mountain Home. Nope. I even picked Shady J. Like, they were still like, no. So then they were like, here, go to Tyndall. Go down there. They need you down there.
I think I had Mildenhall, Ramstein, Yokota, Gardena. I think that was it. My first 4 choices. And then they were like, nah, you go to Little Rock, Arkansas. And then the other like 8 or 9 C-130 guys, they all got like Mildenhall and Gardena. And I was like, what the hell?
What were, Chipper, what were some of your favorite stations that you can talk about? And do you have any funny stories from said stations or TDYs or deployments or whatever?
I don't know. I like being in California just because that was home. But
West Coast, West Coast, and
I know. Well, I don't know how the Air Force is, but at least with the Navy, like the West Coast is way more like chill than the East Coast. Like the East Coast Navy is super anal retentive. So, but I've done both. I've done the East Coast and West Coast. But like with the C-130s, you basically had like a home base, and then you were never home. So I mean, I've all those places you named that were on your dream sheet. I've been to all those places and more. Probably one of the coolest things we did on C-130s is we had to haul a plane full of cash one time. Like it was just 5 pallets of cash. Like that was kind of cool.
What?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. Each pallet though had 2 armed guards. There's like 2 armed guards per pallet.
It's like doing prisoner transports. That I'm just saying, like, if you ever see how they put these people on the tarps, man, like they put a tarp on the floor, and then they use the D-rings on the floor of the 130, and they use the which Chipper, you probably remember the cargo chains that were in the back. They would like lay those across their legs basically, and then just crank them down. So they would cut a circulation off to their legs, and these dudes are just chained to the floor basically until they got
Allegedly.
to Gitmo.
Allegedly.
That's crazy.
No, that's part of the Geneva Convention. That's how they transport high-value prisoners.
Oh wow.
Transporting cash, that's pretty cool. That's like the aerial laundromat, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, launder it, because I'm assuming it was coming from the Middle East to, I don't know, America somewhere.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
It was just a base that was on an island, and they had to get the money off the island because like the ship would pull in, and like all the people on the ships have cash for some reason. So like the sailors would come into the exchanges and just buy up everything in the exchanges when they'd have like shore leave for a day or 2 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd pay cash for everything, so there'd just be like a ludicrous amount of cash on the island. So then they'd have to get it off.
They just give you the little pogs back. Remember the pogs? That they
Dude,
give you?
those pogs are garbage. The coins.
Yeah, but most people would like throw them away.
I found some the other day.
Yeah, I still find them randomly.
Most people would throw them away. So
25
while you're
cents.
on deployment, you just stack them up. You just put them in a bag because people are just like, whatever, leave them all over the tent. You're like, cool. Hey, anybody's? Nobody's. Oh, the person who had these left. Okay, cool. And then at the end, you go buy, I don't know, some cool Bose headphones, that you raked up in pogs.
Is that like boot camp?
No, it was I'm sure you noticed it when you're deployed overseas. They don't want to mail the coins because they weigh more than what they're worth. So it's just pogs that say
That's
like
what they call. That's what they literally
those
call them.
AFIs. So I don't know if like the Navy did the same thing with like the PX instead of the BX, but they would just say like 25 cents or
5
whatever,
cents.
10 cents. Yeah.
No, the Navy just gets rid of pennies, so they just round up or down. Like they still have quarters, nickels, and dimes.
Maybe just
Well, they have big old boats to haul them around. So I mean,
Yeah.
Weight and balance on airplanes, weight and balance on boats, probably different.
Yeah.
The other cool thing, like when I was on reconnaissance, I don't know if Jay talked. I heard you guys a couple weeks ago. You guys were talking about like off the coast of California with the different are they called UAP sightings now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when in 2004, when that pilot, the Navy pilot in the FA-18, he saw the Tic Tac.
Mhm.
So they
Colonel.
told
What
like
was his name? Colonel. I just had his name, but I forgot it. Never mind.
I wrote it down. But they were off like the Nimitz, and they like reported it to the Pentagon, and they like sent the Pentagon all the videos and everything. And this like changed my whole, like, some of this. I mean, I was an E5 nothing at the time, so like this was all above my pay grade, all this stuff that was going on. But then they did a big 60 minutes thing on it, and it filled in like a ton of the gaps for me. So like all the stuff that I learned from the 60 minutes show, it said that basically like after that pilot saw it off the coast, they then reported it to the Pentagon, and the Pentagon didn't know what to do with it, like, because I guess even though we all believe that there's like all these top secret bases all over the place that deal with alien technology and all that kind of stuff, the Pentagon was like, we don't do that. And they talk about that on the 60 Minutes show.
Because you worked on P3s and you were like an AVI type thing, right?
I was avionics, and
Yeah.
I was in flight.
You just changed a lot of boxes. That's cool about the aliens, dude. It might be us. I've seen some stuff where they say us, so I don't know. It's probably us. And they were like, we want you to go see. We're going to fly this thing.
See if you can find
We
us.
want you to go look.
And then you're like, oh, you're right there. Oh, damn it.
And then they go, all right, back to the drawing board. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Like, it comes out of the desert like Yucca Man.
And like it was just one of them, because I can't remember if it was that video or the other one where he, like, you can hear the pilots flying around and like looking at them and talking about like they're everywhere, like all these things.
There was a big whirlpool off the coast of California, and this thing would fly in and out of the middle of the whirlpool. It would go into the water, and there's videos you can see of it going in and out of the water. But it's got no flights. Like, you guys all know what an airplane is and how an airplane flies, like basic, like
kind of.
This thing, it has no flight surfaces. It has no flight controls. It has no heat signature. Like, it's got no propulsion system. Like, what is it?
Yeah, that's trippy.
I believe it.
I believe it was real. I just don't know if it was alien or us.
I know for me, I've always been a believer. Like,
I believe,
you know, you look up at the stars, right? And you have to think, like, we can't be the only planet out there. You know what I mean? Like, we can't be the only people out there with like civilization or whatever it may be out there in the universe. So
yeah, like I've said before, I do believe that like there's probably life out there somewhere.
Hey, Red is Goodyear in the waiting room.
No. Yes.
Maybe.
Yes, he is. Welcome, Goodyear.
Oh,
You guys hear that?
I feel like I'm in a demented version of the Brady Bunch.
We are. Oh, here's a story of a man named Brady. Welcome. Good morning.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah, guten Morgen.
Are you Alice?
I know how to cook.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Sorry, I'm all out of it. I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep. I didn't get back to the house until about 4 o'clock this morning. So and then I had to jump right into class.
Yeah,
I don't know if fun's the word, but F starts it. Sorry, I kind of popped into the waiting room during this really deep conversation about extraterrestrials and everything. And, here I thought I was just going to be walking into Rhino talking about crew chiefing Winnebagos.
That's a good one, Winnebagos.
Yeah, that is a good one.
What was the thing from Spaceballs called? It wasn't Winnebago, but
Winnebago.
Yeah. I thought it had a name.
I don't.
Sure it did.
I don't remember. It was a Mog. Remember what was it? John Candy was a Mog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name? Barf. Barf.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I still love how they put like Michael Winslow in there when he's playing with the sensors or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, it's been jammed," and then all the jam starts coming down, and he's like, "It's a raspberry." There's only one person that uses raspberry.
Lone Star. Anyways, we have Goodyear joining us now, and You've probably heard us.
Our
talk
gracious
about Goodyear.
host. Gracious host.
Yeah. So yeah, let's hear a little bit about Goodyear. A
Well,
little background. I guess.
first off, what number tire are you on?
Oh, I lost count years ago.
Okay.
I mean, I
How about
can
your
tell you if I
spreadsheet?
broke out a Julian calendar, I'm in the 240-day range right now.
Holy dang, dude.
Dang,
That's
let me
crazy.
knock on wood.
It's over. I just jinxed it. Don't worry about it.
Just call us if you need a ride. I'll pick you up on the bike. You can ride.
No,
You can ride reverse cowboy.
no.
That's the only way, though.
Well, he just got a really nice bike, but I heard he's getting a sidecar. That way he can hold 2 people.
You're welcome in at any time, Rhino.
I'm down, dude.
Looking
Get one of those
forward to it.
scarves. One of those
Oh,
scarves
yeah.
for the goggles. I'm down.
Goggles, yeah.
All day.
I was gonna dress up like Dr. Jones, like his dad, you know, the fedora and glasses, and just yell at Goodyear the entire time.
You should get a bike. We should all get a bike. Start a biker gang.
So what are the rules to this whole thing? Do I have to like sniffle every 30 seconds and cough
Yes.
every once in a while just for red?
Please don't.
Okay.
Please don't. I will fight you all. I will fight you.
Farts and burps encourages.
Well, so we can just do that the whole time.
All right, continue. I apologize for interrupting your what do you call it?
What?
Introduction.
Oh, so
right.
yeah, well, yeah.
Oh,
My
Inter-
bad. That's what I do.
Introduce our other guests there, Blackbeard, to Goodyear.
Oh, Goodyear. This is my sister, Chyper. Chyper Goodyear.
nice to know you have family.
Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. Good to know Blackbeard comes from somewhere.
Yes. The sea.
Yar. Did they probe you?
If they did, it's a repressed memory. I hope to get it back someday.
Don't want to lose that one.
Yeah. Why do all the good times disappear? I don't know.
Come back.
So I guess introducing myself, I'm originally from the East Coast, worked in restaurants for quite a while, owned one for a couple of years, and when I finally shut it down, I decided I wanted a real job, so I joined the Air Force.
What type of restaurant?
Well, mine was a delivery and carry out near a very large college campus in Virginia. We're open from 4 p.m. till 4 a.m.
Dang.
Yeah, well, 90% of my business was after midnight when the bars started closing down.
Hell yeah.
Like I said, it was delivery. I don't want you messing my place up. Let me come to your place. And after the first year, I got my liquor license, so we started delivering beer, kegs, bottled beer. So like I would do a special on Friday night, large 1-topping pizza and a 6-pack of Budweiser for $10. So that turned into chaos pretty fast. Once I shut the restaurant down, I wanted a real job, so I joined the Air Force. I had one other job in between as an architectural design guideline administrator, which if you ever lived in an HOA and you put a new mailbox up and it's not on the approved palette of colors, I'm the guy who wrote you the nasty letter. So Goodyear is actually probably one of the nicest names I've been called in a long time, which I'm still real thrilled that one came out.
Damn you, HOA.
Yeah, did you join in the 1900s too?
No.
You didn't
so-
know butterscotch?
No. If I had joined directly out of high school, I would have in the early 1990s.
1990s.
That's right. I waited until.
Sorry, he's a little
after
slow.
Hooked on phonics. Work for me.
No, I waited until after Y2K to join. Wanted to make sure the Earth wasn't going to fall out of the solar system.
I remember.
And actually,
that. I remember.
I
That
went
New
on
Year's
death
Eve,
right
dude.
before 9/11. And I was supposed to ship out like in August. No, sorry, October. Supposed to ship out in October, and then 9/11 happened, and they just didn't let anybody in for a while. They were starting to vet everybody again. So the Air Force had told me, quit your job. You're going to ship any day now. And 3 months later, I didn't ship. So I started picking up bartending gigs for tips only, right up until the day they called me and said, okay, you need to be at the recruiters tomorrow. Okay, cool.
Woo, Big Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So background is egress, ejection seats and escape systems, chair repair. Did that for for Uncle Sam for a few years. And then I actually ended my enlistment a little bit early, transferred the remainder of my service to reserves. And go ahead, call individual ready reserve inactive. You'll get a throat punch. Because I got recalled twice.
We're keyboard
and then
warriors. You can't throw punches.
I know where y'all work.
Oh,
I know where a couple of you live.
Uh,
So
allegedly.
then I went to the Nameless Faceless Corporation as a janitor, which is where I'm at now. Been there for 19 years.
I love being a janitor. It's fun.
God, that must be an old mop handle. Just
It's
down to a
smooth
toothpick now.
I think
Yeah,
you're like
been,
you're one of the higher janitors that have like your name on the side of the mop bucket and things like that, right?
that's what I'm told. Yeah,
Yeah, nice. I like it. I'm jealous. I like it.
don't be.
It's a platinum mop bucket.
really big mop
Hopefully-
bucket.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody shits in mine like they do at work.
I've still no, that's not a thing.
Oh, yeah,
Or yeah,
Yeah, the
Dude,
Phantom
I don't
Pooper.
get it.
not in
I
the
don't
last
get it.
like year though.
No, it hasn't happened in a couple of years. Now I am going to knock on some wood. When I first went to the U2 program, my very first assignment was to figure out who was shitting in the sinks. Like, really? That's the game we play today? Okay.
Wow.
So I had to literally stake out the men's room, waiting for somebody to upper deck the sinks.
Sitting there with your binoculars. I see.
Yeah. I actually caught the guy. Not in
Just
the
a-
act, but
Just
Caught him with his
full-time-
pants down.
Right before.
Just full-time drug demand reduction. Like just
Ah,
sit in the
gotcha.
bathroom.
Did you have to handcuff him and stuff? With gloves on and everything?
there was the only physicality was hand me your badges. Let's go for a walk. Don't touch anything.
Don't touch his badges, bro. That's gross.
Ugh.
Somebody had to do it.
Yeah. So
Um,
okay, who's got fab? Who's got fab today? Is this still Rhino? Rhino used to have fab.
Yeah, he's somewhere over there
What's he doing?
sleeping.
Has anyone seen the real fab?
No.
He's an elusive creature.
Yeah, save the warthog, bro.
Pumbaa.
Has he said anything about that?
No, I don't think he's even heard it yet. I
Oh,
don't
he
think-
liked it on Instagram, the video.
Oh, he did? That came over from Vertex. I guess they called him Pumbaa when he'd run around with some other skinny guy on the flight line. They called him Timon and Pumbaa when they were crewing F-15s over there.
The whole video is great until the end when it was like they called me Mr. Pig. Like, I just lost
What
it.
did you call me? Did you just say that?
And then the slow motion at the end where he's running.
hmm
I just picture Fab trying to like run to get chalks or something, you know.
Run to get 2 double whoppers.
Chipper's probably
Picture
like,
him
in the-
moving.
Chipper's
the
probably like,
QA
oh,
office.
this is a great conversation.
So Chipper, that's I
Well,
don't know how the Navy was, but
good segue.
you worked in maintenance for the first half of your Navy career, but
Yeah.
was it pretty crazy and dick and fart jokes all over the place?
Well, so I was one of the very first people after Clinton signed that women could be in combat positions. So, like my first command, they didn't even have women's bathrooms. We had a flippy thing on the door. Like if you were going in, you flipped it to female, and then but like it was a men's bathroom, like urinals and the whole 9 yards. So, and then like the changing rooms for air crew. I was one of the first female air crew for the Navy, like part of like a pilot program. So for my first probably at least 5 years, I never saw another female air crewman. But towards the end of my career, it was like almost 50-50, like men to women. But yeah, it was real weird. In maintenance, it was just all men and then like me. So yeah, it was just basically like working with all men. There weren't really women around.
That's how it
How
is now
many-
with Red.
How many dicks did you see drawn on your C-130? There had to have been a bunch.
So
Like
the
a
C-130,
metric fuck ton.
as you guys know, probably who have been in the military more recently, like I got out in 2016 was when I retired, but probably the last 3 to 5 years of my career, everything got real PC, like up and up. So we had what we called the library, and it was basically the bunk that's in the cockpit of the
Yeah.
There's a bunk in the cockpit?
Yeah.
What?
Well, there's two technically.
The Hilton. Is that what you guys called it?
We called it the library because like if you lifted up the mattress for the bunk, it was just all porn.
Yeah.
Cool.
But towards the end of my career, somebody found the library and ported it, so then it became like we had a safety stand down about the library, and you know how that goes.
Someone always ruins it for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I talked about it before, but there was like an investigation over on the 15 side at Nellis, and that they did an investigation to see who and how many dicks were drawn on things. So they went around the squadron. There were dicks everywhere because people were drawing them on whiteboards and the green books, the green turnover books, all over in there. They were all over in intakes. I mean, engine bays, they were everywhere, dude, so they did like an investigation. I don't know what the findings were or why, who like spearheaded that awesome investigation on like, did they tally them? Like how many, that's my question. Like, did they tally them? What were their findings? I want to see it, you know what I mean? But it was kind of weird, but funny.
I think
How bad do you have to fuck up to be the dick counter?
Yeah.
You can be the pee-pee checker.
Yeah, I mean, you could be the meat gazer.
Well, I mean, you were the shit watcher, so.
True. All right. Point taken.
That was the only good thing about getting an Article 15 in the Air Force is I never had to be a pee-pee checker.
I always had
Silver
fun. I always had fun
Yep.
with those guys. I would always pull my shirt up to my chin. and then
Drop your
drop my
pants to the ground.
Yeah, and I would always be that guy.
I think the worst one we had. This is when I was on OT. He was actually our lead tech, and he always carried a grease pencil. And this guy was very, very artistic. And in the intake of 35, there was a whole city that was made of. It was called Dictopia, and
In
you
an
had,
F-35. Oh my god.
yeah, and you had like Dick trees, you had the Dick sun, you had Dick buildings, you had there was a Dick plane that was dropping little Dick parachuters. Like it was very like picture watching Superbad and all those like crazy drawings that he made. It was like that inside the whole intake. Well, it sat there forever. Well, the mod team from Fort Worth came out and we pulled the engine and they had some VP come out that was going around to different mod team sites to see their work, and apparently she crawled up inside the engine bay and there was Dictopia, and
We needed the dick counter up again from the like early second episode. Dick counter up again.
And I remember our flight chief, he's just this tall, lanky dude. Sid is what we called him, and he was from Brooklyn, like hardcore in the Bronx. So he had that hardcore New York accent, and he was just like,
Can you do it?
Go over there and clean them fucking dicks out of the goddamn intake right now. Like he
That was
made
good.
all of us. So we all like quietly went over there with some like alcohol wipes and tried to clean it real quick.
The
But they were
Sistine
on
Chapel of Dicks.
But they were on there for so long that as soon as you cleaned them off, all like the outlines were all there. So you couldn't get rid of the outlines. So it was like, well, it is what it is at this point.
Let's go to paint.
Yeah.
That was great.
I'm call LO.
Yeah.
When I checked into my first command, like I said, there weren't women there, and the avionics shop had this beautiful, I mean, gorgeous. I'll send it to what's his name, Blackbeard.
Hey, what's your fucking name again?
I'll send him the picture and he can show it to you guys later. But it started out as just these pinup girls, but they were naked and they were carrying like avionics gear. And at some point they put clothes on them before I got there. So, but you can still see like nipples and stuff. And then by the time I left there, somebody had complained and they had painted over it. But it was a gorgeous like mural. Like I was actually kind of bummed to see it go. I thought it was pretty.
They did that a lot to my first squadron. I was in the Fighting Furies, the first fighter squadron, AMU. You were Goodyear. You probably remember that over there. I don't know how long you were at
Oh, we're
Tyndall,
a fucking problem.
but hey, whoa. All All right. First and
Look-
finest, dude.
Hey, look
What's
how he
up?
turned out.
Well, all right. Yeah. So, I mean, we would just find tits all over the place. Like, because she had that. If I could bring up a picture here. Let me find a picture.
You know what? It makes a lot of sense why they sent you to the first, because they were red.
Yes. I love it. I'm glad I went to the first. Second,
So,
95th.
well,
I mean,
Chipper, you probably remember on the nav table they had that little plexiglass cover that sometimes like the navigators would put like little charts or maps on them. Well, we never really used that in the desert, so they were all like PC, so they were all clothes and stuff. But we would name all of our airplanes over there, and we had like a pinup girl from like the 40s or 50s.
bro, if you keep clearing your throat like that, we're gonna.
And so we put that on the nav table, and just like you named it or whatever, and they were fully clothed. They weren't naked or anything. And I guess we had some DV come through, and it was an Army colonel, and she thought that it was very offensive that we had like morale, like pinup girl, and like the air crew did it with us. Like we had female loadmasters that were like, yeah, that looks awesome, like that looks cool, like it's historic, and like, but even then it was like nothing was bad, but they weren't naked like yours probably were.
Like I said, I didn't see them naked. They had clothes on by the time I got there, but you could, I don't know. I'll send the picture. You guys can see it.
Dining table, the dining suite in the Winnebago.
It was a fold out. It converted to a bed, save space.
Wait. I'm sorry. I missed this. You said a freaking dining table in your trash hauler.
No, we never had a
No.
dining.
Okay, then I'm far behind. I'm sorry. I apologize.
We had a galley, like we had an oven and sink, and actually the older ones were not that great, but the new J models coming out, they have a freaking microwave oven
To warm the towels for the pilots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, although we did go get one of those whole chickens from the commissary one day, and you could put it in there, and we cooked it in the microwave one time.
Sounds delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually pretty good.
One time we cook a chicken in a microwave. It was good. We did that.
Can't do that on a 15, can you?
No.
Like, just stick it in the exhaust,
The exhaust
on a stick.
Yeah. While you're trying to get an exhaust sample, yes.
You never heard that joke where the C-130's flying along and the F-15 comes up and the F-15 pilot's like, huh, look at these losers. Hey guys, check this out. And he does all these cool maneuvers and stuff and all that crap. And he comes back and he's all huffing and puffing because he's G-wasted. He's like, what do you think about that? And the 130 pilot's like, that's pretty cool, man. But check this out. And so they're sitting there waiting. F-15 pilot's like, it's been like 30 minutes and they just keep flying straight. And the pilot comes back and he's like, what do you think about that? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, dude, I went and refreshed my coffee. I went and took a shit. I took a shower while I was at it, and I came back up here and I washed my hands in the sink and I made myself another breakfast Friday. And I sat back up here and he's just like, you guys are dumb, and just flew away. That's how it is.
No
it's luxury.
You think fighter pilots don't take a shit in a cockpit? Let me introduce you to the world of egress.
Yeah.
You know how many times I received a call, I need you to come out to the jet with a C-pad? What did he do?
Yeah, I want to hear about some funny stuff here.
Oh, God. So the F-15 has a pyro system for the ejection system. And it's a series of detonating cords and initiators and everything. Well, the D model has and the E model has a panel behind the aft seat rails called Pyro 3. And if you've never done one before, it'll take you a good solid full shift, maybe even longer. I've seen some guys take 12 hours to put it in. It's a royal pain in the ass. There's 76 explosives on it, 28 bolts that hold it in place, and 2 that go right through the dead center of it. And of course, those are the last ones you have to do. So if you drop the bolt inside the panel, then you have to take the whole panel back out. So we send a guy out there. I won't say his name, but we send a guy out there to go do the job, and he comes back in like 2 hours. Like, no fucking way. No. And we go and we check the bomb room and the parts racks, and there's like this baggie full of washers and nuts and bolts and clamps, and like, dude, what is that? Well, them's just spare parts. Get your happy ass back out to the airplane.
Them's a spare part.
No fucking way. Probably the worst one as far as bio was and this actually happened out at Camp Eddy. we had a pilot that was testing diapers.
Yep, I
That
remember that.
that was the test. And the whole point was for them to soil themselves in flight. So, they were just drinking gobs of water the whole time and everything. And so we were covering
Prune
them in
juice.
chocks. What's that?
Prune juice.
Oh, hope
We had
no.
some
Thank God,
butterscotches
no.
and prune juice.
We were covered the jet. It's in chocks.
Sorry,
Guy
he's slow
climbs up
again.
the-
Sorry.
Dude climbs up the ladder after the aircrew exits, goes to pin the seat, puts his hand right in the middle of it, and it was like stepping on a wet carpet. Just it all came up. It's like,
Went through
yeah,
so
I'm not-
many seat pads.
Yummy.
Yep, I'm not swapping that one. Sorry. I'm going to teach the aircrew how to do it. I'm not swapping that one. We had all sorts of stupid shit in egress.
Were you there at Tyndall? Second AMU? No, first. First or second? The crew chief removed a rocket from the seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And you probably had to come out and contain it, take care of it.
Yes.
I think dude lost a stripe for that, or lost his, so I forget. But it was a big fucking deal. He's like, here, I got the rocket motor out.
Yeah.
And then
we used to have problems with people doing that. And especially down at the 43rd, the F-22 seat has leg
wrap the
restraints.
Yeah.
It has leg restraints that are Velcroed in around the leg wells. It's Velcro. They come out, it lays down on the floor. Well, we used to have problems with crew chiefs going and just back up. I mean, it's just Velcro tabs, right? So one day I'm out there doing what's called an egress final inspection, and I happened to look under the seat to do a FOD check. And I noticed that when the crew chief had put the leg restraints back up, they had crossed them. So really what it would have done is turn into a high-speed tourniquet if an ejection had occurred.
Shit, that's not cool. Those Raptor guys, gosh, can't take them anywhere.
It's funny. I
Yep.
listened to y'all's podcast in the truck and on my way back and forth from Nameless Faceless Corporation. And I find myself screaming at the radio constantly because y'all talk about the aerospace industry is so incestuous. I find myself hearing some of the same stuff that I live and never knew you guys at the time, but like the Canada TDY.
Oh boy. Lovely.
Yeah, I was on that one. There were a couple of Key West TDYs that were kind of messy.
Listen, those are all the really hard, assignments over there at Tyndall. Well, you had the Key West and what was it? New Orleans. New Orleans
Yeah.
I heard was really good, and you were probably there on that one.
I didn't do New Orleans. I did just
Yeah.
about every Key West that came up.
At least
Or
the 43rd. We didn't start going to New Orleans till like later, like a few years before. No, a year, like before I left. Prior to
So
that,
I was there
mostly Key
04
West.
to 09.
Yeah, it would have been like 11, 10.
That's when
No,
they started getting like 3 jets up off the ground instead of just 1 or 2. Because you'd see, as a 15 guy, you'd see like 6 taxi down to EOR, and then like 5 of them taxi back and only 1 go and fly. Then you're like, wow, Raptor's great.
I
I'm a hater.
remember
I'm a hater.
43rd putting 8 jets up in the air one morning, and ops thought they were hot shit. They wanted to turn them all, and they did an 8-turn one. Like, how'd that work out for you guys?
there you go.
It's like
Yeah.
when I was in OT,
Raptor power.
we were trying. So or Alice came out with like we want to try to break the system, right? That was our test.
Can't
in
talk
OT.
about that. Can't talk about that.
It's not even classified.
I don't know. Allegedly, I'm just shooting shit here.
It was a TDY.
I'm just bullshitting.
So gullible.
So we took a bunch of airplanes up to Volk in Wisconsin, which a lot of people go up there for like Northern Lightning and stuff like that. And our goal was to do a 6 turn 6, turn 4, turn 4, turn 3, turn 3, turn 2, turn 2. And we made it 6 turn 4. And then he tried to log in the computer and it was like, chook.
What that in math? How much fuel will use?
It was a lot. But needless to say, the system couldn't handle it and it fried itself. So we sat there for like 5 days until a new one came in so we could continue. It didn't work. But I was part of on the other side where Mr. Surma, Mr. Cleveland, they were all brand new airmen, and DT was like,
Can't
here
use
you
their
go.
names.
Just gonna say, way to throw the names out there.
Yeah,
Well,
fucker.
whatever. Well, okay. Well,
When he
two
comes on
guys-
here, I'm gonna have
Hey.
him. I'm gonna have him come on here and like scold
fine.
you for using his name. He's
Well,
a very
we-
scolding
we
person. Have
also
you ever
said-
talked to Surma? He'll scold you very Very.
Yeah, but he's like a timid cat. You could just tell him go away, and he'll just put his head down and walk away.
He'll be like, listen, please don't use my name like that.
We said the same thing, and then we've said our names like thousands of times.
Let's
so who
all be
cares?
friends. Let's all be friends.
Anyway, and they brought him over, and that was my first test of development, a test where I didn't really understand it was a Lockheed program, not an Air Force program.
Whoa, you can't. Whoa,
What?
you can't say that shit.
Okay,
It's
then
a
cut it out.
janitor program.
Well, basically they couldn't do anything. So it was like, here's 2 new airmen, train them.
He's
And
been
it was
gone
like,
too
cool,
long.
can you go do this? And they were like, we can't do that. We don't know how to do that. And that was just mind boggling to me that newer airmen couldn't do that type of stuff. Stupid janitor program.
Look, now you become one of us.
One
know.
of us.
One of us.
One of us. I love being a janitor over there, man.
And
Now
now
I
yell
will
at
be a
people because they
janitor
can't.
later today.
Now yell at people because they can't follow mopping procedures. Simple things.
It happens sometimes.
Left, right, dip, mop, squeegee, mop out. Repeat.
Okay, Goodyear.
You just talked yourself into writing an SOI.
How to mop.
You
Goodyear.
can't say that. You can't say that.
You can't. You can't say that. We don't use those. So how long were you in?
Me?
Yes.
Active duty, 3 years. And then on the reserves for the remaining 5.
Weekend warrior. 5. Okay.
I did not do the weekend duty thing.
Okay, so you weren't a weekend warrior. You were kind of just
No.
I'm here.
Yeah,
Just call me if
I'm-
you need me.
And they did. But yeah, I wound up, I was active duty at Nellis. And then
Yeah.
Then I went to Tyndall from there. Did about almost 6 years there. Wound up going to the corporation's location in Texas for a few months. Came out to Camp Eddy, and then did about a year at Naval Air Station, Patuxent River, Maryland.
Yeah, it was gross.
And then I was actually supposed to only be there TDY for 3 weeks. I stepped off the plane and they asked me, how long can you stay? And at the time, my marriage was in a state of turmoil. And I said, open-ended. So I stuck it out for about a year, which went over swimmingly.
At PAX.
Yeah.
Woo!
And then came back to Camp Eddy, and I've alternated between there and the company's place in Southern California. This is like my 3rd tour at Camp Eddy.
When were you at PAX?
What year was that? I got there
No, I just got a
January
Camp Eddy
3rd,
reference.
2010, and I left right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. I got there in 2015.
I've done a couple TDYs back there, and it looks identical to when I was there in 10.
Yeah, it's the same. You just
Check.
got them all in a row. You know, FTCEs are out where they should be. You know, not in
Chipper.
an office.
Chipper, were you ever up at near like Pax River?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm like, that was the only place on the East Coast that had a Del Taco, but then they closed it.
I remember they had a Sbarro. I loved it. I was eating.
Bro,
I turned into a fat ass. I loved them.
The Wawa, dude. The Wawa down the street was the
Yes.
best. The Wawa
Yes.
was the best. Like, we would try and get off base, escape base, like get there as fast as we can, get our Wawa stuff, and get back to the squadron before anybody said anything. But yes, the Wawa.
The
There
Wawa
was
has
also
some,
a Sheets.
they only have it Thanksgiving called the Gobbler, and it's basically like Thanksgiving turkey, like cranberry sauce, like mashed potatoes, stuffing on a roll.
That sounds awesome right now. I
Ooh.
would eat like 10 of those.
Yeah, I've probably 10 of those.
Get in my belly.
They also had a Sheets gas station that used to make the best burgers,
Yeah.
bullet burgers.
Yeah, Sheets right across the street, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I first got introduced to Sheets last week when I was back in Ohio for my buddy's wedding. And you go in there, it's like a normal gas station, and they have all the touch pads, and you can do your own order. Like, they got a lot of stuff in there now: pizza, burgers. That's all made to order stuff. It was crazy.
They also have the beer cave.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it is not legal to consume inside of. Don't ask me how I know.
It was
Did
for
you-
testing purposes only.
Did you know that in Ohio, if it's after 9 o'clock, you can't buy liquor, and then you can only buy beer till 11 p.m.
That's like in some parts of Texas where you get dry counties and then
Yeah.
you have to like roll over into something else to consume alcohol, or you have a lot of You have some strip clubs that sell beer and alcohol, and then some strip clubs where it's BYOB, which I enjoyed those the most because you would get there a little late and you had like people going, you had sailors going back to base, and they were like, dude, we got this big bucket of beer. We'll sell it for like $5. And I was like, let's go. What's up, dude? I didn't have to spend a lot. And then you throw change on stage and get kicked out and all that stuff, you know.
I think Pennsylvania had the weirdest liquor laws I've ever heard. You could get like hard liquor everywhere, like at the state stores, at the then you could get wine at the grocery stores, but you couldn't get beer anywhere except a bar or a beer distributor. And if you got it from a beer distributor, you can only buy it in a 24-pack or higher.
Wow.
I don't know what problem that's solving.
That's weird. It's probably because there's a lot of Amish there. I don't know where the theory would go, but there's probably it has to maybe something to do with the Amish. I don't really know. I'm just spitballing.
You see a lot of like high speed chases with buggies in Pennsylvania. It's a problem.
Listen, do you think that there are like Amish police that police the Amish? They have like reds and blues up on their buggy while they're chasing the other buggy. They just have faster horses to get away from those horses. I don't know. I'm not Amish. I have no idea. I'm just asking the questions, man.
That's the best excuse ever. You know how many times I've heard when I lived in Ohio of like the guy would be drunk, passed out, but the horse is just going down the road because the horse knows how to get home. And they were just like, well, I mean, he's technically not driving. The horse will take him home.
Well, there are a lot of Amish in Ohio.
Yeah, there's a whole town called Middlefield. Middlefield is predominantly Amish. It's huge.
Were you Amish?
No, absolutely not.
Although
if you dress like an Amish guy and drive a car, people tend to freak out.
Oh boy, Whistling Diesel, he did that.
I learned in living in Maryland, like I live near Pax River, and that's like a huge Amish area there, and they can take Uber. I learned that, and they do, and the Uber don't them because they stink so bad and they don't tip.
St. Mary's, right?
Well, then you have Mennonites. Mennonites can drive cars and stuff like that. They're not full Amish. They still do some of the practice, but they can drive cars and have TVs and some electronics, but kind of
Amish light.
Yeah. Amish light.
What a man.
Sure.
Right there.
Yep.
Right.
Sorry, I had some pre-workout this morning. I'm super hype.
Yeah. So Chyper, I think you've been all over the place because I remember hearing you talk about it, but like where are some of the places that you were either stationed or went to?
So we mainly had the Middle East, like we would get out of Bahrain, and then Italy was a big one that we'd go to a lot, and then Japan. So those were like our main, but from there we'd go everywhere. But then we'd also just fly everywhere all the time, like from home base. Like I was saying with the animals that we would fly around an interest, like they wouldn't feed them, so their stomachs would be empty when they load them onto the plane, and they would just fart the whole flight, and the whole plane would just like, oh my god, you can't breathe. It's horrid.
Did you drop them out the back?
No,
like drop them in the water out the back. Like you need to get out of here, you stinking whale.
No, they'd have like these. They look like Legos, like big giant Legos, and they'd create these like tanks that were palletized for them with the Legos, and then they fill it with a little bit of water, and then put them in there, and then we just fly them around. But yeah, they'd keep the plane at like 32 degrees or 40 degrees or something. It was freezing cold in the plane and full of animal farts. It was horrid.
Did you guys land on boats with those airplanes?
No, we didn't.
Did you guys see that one C-130 that they were testing with the carrier landing at one time?
So when they did that, he had like no fuel in that 130, and he had to time it just right, just as he crossed the end of the deck. He had to go max reverse to just hit just right, and he did it like 4 or 5 times, I think it was. That was the only time they did it.
Have you guys
an Air Force one? I have to look back.
No, it was Navy. It was Marine Corps, I think.
Does the Air Force do Andros Island?
Andrews?
No, Andros. It's
I don't know.
It's like the Bahamas. Anyways, that's a little tiny airfield, like, and we would fly in and out of there with the C-130s. But you had to be almost at no fuel, and then you have to fly from there to Key West to fuel. Like it was like you had enough fuel to make it from there to Key West, just to be able to take off out of there.
Little hop.
Yeah. But we had one time we landed in Andros, and you can't get fuel in Andros. You have to plan. Okay, so we're going to burn this amount of fuel getting to Andros, and then we got to take off out of Andros with this amount of fuel, and we're putting this amount of cargo on. So we got to be under this weight because there's like a no like drop dead.
Yeah, there's
weight.
a whole chart thing that the flight engineers do.
Yeah, well, the loadmasters do it in the Navy, but that was
right.
like my job. But we landed in Andros, and the flight engineer, for some reason, he decided he was maybe doing like some kind of fuel checks, and he didn't know that the externals were fueled. Somebody had fueled the externals and not told him, and so like we had to spend like a week defueling the plane. It was crazy because they only had like one little fuel cart, so you had to like, you know how that goes.
Externals hold what, about 2,000 pounds or something like that? It's a lot.
But yeah, if we had
Chipper,
taken out there with
were you ever stationed there at Key West?
No. But like if we had tried to take off out of there with the externals fueled, we would have crashed. Like no joke.
Could you not just cranked up all four and just open the feeds for the externals and fed out of those for a while to burn them down? We used to do that sometimes.
It was a weight situation. Like you cannot get off that island with over a certain weight.
Yeah, what I was saying was sometimes like when we were in Afghanistan, some of the fobs we were at were pretty small, and if they had excess fuel or something like that, they would either just sit on the ground, the engine's running, and just burn out of the externals. Because on H models and E models, you can isolate the tanks on what you're feeding out of. So we used to just pull out of the externals and drain those.
Yeah, I'm not a flight engineer.
Probably could have saved you a week of buckets.
Hey, did you guys know that? Did you guys know this is the anniversary of the when the sound barrier was broken by Mr. Chuck Yeager? Did you guys know that?
Today.
I met
Yes, sir.
I had no idea who he was, but like Edwards, he used to go to Edwards like once a year and hold a dinner, and I got an invite to the dinner one year, and it was kind of cool. He basically just told, I don't know what the Air Force version of Sea Stories is, but at one point he said every street on this base is named after a dead test pilot, and then someone said, "What about Yeager Boulevard?"
Oh, that's true now, but
yeah, I heard he was an asshole.
yeah.
People that actually like got to like had bad interactions, like he was just a straight jerk.
Hey, if I was Chuck Yeager, I would be too.
It was probably side effects. Probably side effects from all that fast flying, man.
He
I guess
born
he
in
was
1920.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah, he was one of my not when I was there, but he was a commander of the first at some point. I think it was like a while before I got there, but I'd have to look it up. But he was commander of the first fighter squadron at some point. Well, I was like, yeah, that's pretty sweet, dude. Now I work where he flew a bunch of shit, and I'm always like daydreaming about that stuff. Like, when you told me about the Valkyrie fitting in the
oh yeah,
the place, I'm always like, dude, this is that's rad. And then thinking about just trying to look back, like what it would be like, in the
to see that in there.
yeah, and see it in both places because it's on both sides. I don't know.
If you go
think
down
it's
by
kinda
test
cool.
pilot school, there's a F-104 on a stick. And if you look at the tail of it, there's actually a rocket motor that's built into it. The company built two of those. They were used for high altitude testing. They had to use the rocket motor to boost it to get it up into the upper levels of the atmosphere. That's the one that he didn't crash.
Yeah, I think
You want to find the one that he did, take a metal detector out to Rogers Dry Lake and walk around for a while.
I think from the movie The Right Stuff, where he just takes that plane you're talking about and he just starts taxiing, and the tower's like, I don't have you, and he's like, well, it's Yeager, he's got to be good. Apparently that was like true. That's how he crashed it. He got mad because somebody flew faster and higher than he did, so he just took it, didn't tell anybody, and the tower's like, it's Yeager, I guess he's good. Like, whatever, let him go.
Hey, I've got to sign off. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
No
appreciate
problem. Thanks
coming
for
on and sharing your stories.
shenanigans. Thanks for
Appreciate
doing our
it.
shenanigans. All that.
All right. Good day.
It's always a
everyone.
pleasure having another C-130 person on here.
Yeah,
You're still
Crash College
outnumbered.
unite. Our powers combined. Oh, she gone.
Yeah.
There are four.
Now it's more symmetrical and my OCD is intact.
You guys ever hear about those dudes that took airplanes? You know what I mean? Just like crew chiefs who basically took airplanes, like to fly them off and crashed them. That's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, there's a guy
Tyndall lost an Aero Club airplane. Crew chief took it to Cuba.
There's a guy Mildenhall he was going through some marriage problems with his wife that was back in the States, and he told his wife that he'd be home, and he just took a C-130 by himself. And he was staff sergeant. He was engine unqualified, so he knew how to start it, knew how to do everything.
Paul Meyer, Sergeant Paul Meyer.
Yep, took off from Mildenhall, and apparently, after he passed Ireland and made it out of the ocean, he crashed. Even though some 15s were scrambled from Lakenheath.
His body, well, no, it was 1969, so it couldn't have been 15s. It had to be something else.
Probably F4s.
That's what I was thinking, F4s.
Yeah, F4s or F5s, something like that. But it was on May 23rd, 1969. I guess he took it out and crashed it. Couldn't find his body. I guess Sergeant Meyer was, and this is, I'm getting this off of wearethemighty.com just to cite my sources, right? Sergeant Meyer was under a considerable amount of stress in the days leading up to the theft. He was married just 8 weeks before his deployment to England, and his wife constantly badgered him to come home because she was being sued by her ex-husband.
Damn exes.
Yeah, I guess there was another one where an Army PFC, he took a Huey to the White House.
Huh.
Yeah. So Army PFC Robert K. Preston, and this is still from We Are the Mighty. I thought we'd bring up some cool stuff. I thought about it back in my dome, So he washed out of the Army flight school in 1973, and he was determined to get under the rotors of an Army aircraft by any means. You know what I mean? So February 17, 1974, Preston stole a Bell UH-1 Huey helicopter from Fort Meade, Maryland, and flew it down the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, stopping at a trailer park along the way. That's crazy, man.
He stopped. Of course, it's a trailer park, right?
Yeah, he stopped by a trailer. Hey, man, I gotta get my beer out here. What kind of beer do you think he was drinking? It's probably Natty Light or like Natty Ice
or PBR.
Yeah. PBR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, PBR.
Schlitz.
Old Milwaukee.
Oh. Ooh, Schlitz. Gross. Ice House. It's some of the old stuff. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. The
There was a
helicopter
Marine a few years back that stole an A4, flew
Yeah.
it for like an hour and brought it back.
Wow.
Yeah, didn't damage it either.
I guess the dude that stole the helicopter, he buzzed the Washington Monument and the White House before touching it down
Might as well
on the White
right?
House. Yeah. He was sentenced to 1 year in prison and fined $2,400.
That's it.
Worth it.
That's it.
Worth it.
Way worth it. There was a crew chief. Well, they say a mechanic. I'm guessing a crew chief that stole an FA-6 Sabre in the 1950s.
Wow.
Airman First Class George Johnson. On September 20, 1956, he hopped the cockpit of a Sabre and went for a ride. Yeah. Fortunately, it burned retina from staring at an eclipse meant a plane. Yeah, so basically he could start it and take off, but the landing is the hardest part, I guess, right?
See, that's like when I did enduro in school on 130s, they put you in the full motion on hydraulic stilts, like Airbus and Boeing have for like their pilot training. They put you in one of those. So they teach you how to taxi, they teach you how to do everything, then they let you fly around. So like it's a full everything. And it's like you're teaching people how to do that, and like you go through the checks and make sure everything's good and you don't have any ICAWs or anything like that. It wouldn't be hard, but don't do
What's
it.
an ICAW?
I'd say they don't have those on C-130s, do they?
No, we have. They're called
It's
ACAWs.
the warning buzzer.
No, they're called ACAWs.
Yeah, sorry,
Not ICAWs. ACAWs.
15, 16 guy, A10 guy. We don't do that. We do.
Ours are called advisory,
normal
caution,
stuff.
and warnings.
It's funny how they changed the name of fucking everything, bro.
Dude,
It's
I
a
know.
post flight. It's a BPO pre. It's not the other thing. You know what I mean? It's a quick turn. It is it's not the other names, bro.
Pre-flight, through flight.
Dinosaurs
BPO.
will die though. You know what I mean? If you don't evolve, dinosaurs will die.
BPOs are always called combos. Combo inspections.
Campbell. Is that how you said it too? Did you say it like this? Is a combo? Hey, you sound like you're saying it right now from the Midwest.
It was a post-flight, pre-flight combo that would last us the inspection throughout the weekend.
Pre-flight combo.
72 hours.
You spent far too long in Ohio. Say sound right now. Sorry. Let's say, and then bonus, you already mentioned it there, Goodyear. This Marine that steals an A4. Corporal Lance Corporal Howard Foot.
Oh.
Foot. I don't know. It's Foote.
But
So Foodie. Foot. Yeah.
Fute.
Fute.
we'll church it up. Sure.
Yes.
Oh, Fouché.
Yeah. He gassed up
It's an A7 intruder, right?
A4.
Four.
Skyhawk, bro.
Skyhawk.
Gosh, A4M
Oh, okay.
Skyhawk. Dude.
Listen.
I don't even know what that is.
It's kind of like a Delta Wing type thing. They use them in
Yeah,
Vietnam.
no,
Yeah.
they're
I don't know, it
smaller.
looks like a big mouth bass.
For some reason, I
Yes.
was thinking about that's the big scoop, right? In the
No,
front of
that's
it?
the
Yeah.
7. The 4 had
That's
the
the
intakes
A7.
on top of the wings up here.
Oh,
That's right. That's
They
right.
sat
that's right.
really high in the front.
the A7 reminds me of the F-35's competition that Boeing tried to put out. You know, that bullshit
Yeah.
big mouth bass
Yeah.
that's now
You-
sitting at Pax River.
No, it's actually at Right Pat. They're restoring it to put in their
Oh.
hangar.
Oh, so they took it from Pax River while I was sitting out there. Why?
Yeah, if you follow the Air Force Museum in Dayton, they're restoring it in their restoration hangar so they can put
Bro,
it into their what is it, the X-plane exhibit.
I would hate to be the pilot on that thing, and then because you get made fun of. Like, yeah, man, check out this sweet airplane I fly, dude. Looks like you're flying like a big mouth bass, bro. Looks like somebody's gonna catch you in midair, dude.
Funny is that's not what their intended final design was. That was just a concept demonstrator. If you actually look around, you can find the pictures or the artist renditions of what the final aircraft was supposed to look like, and it's not even close to resembling it.
Yeah.
It looks kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it definitely looks
I
better
shall
than
look
what
at
they
that today.
Yeah.
presented.
Yeah.
But
The one I really liked was the YF-23, the Black Widow.
Ooh,
that was cool.
that
that one
thing
was
was-
rad.
yeah.
they
Thing is-
should bring that out. They should
There's
redo
been
that.
rumors that they want to try to resurrect it.
But
Great
that
addition.
that was always cool to go to the Right Pat and see that in there because you're like, holy crap, like that's
Holy
older now.
crap.
And I was a kid when I saw that.
I went to Right Pat and holy crap.
Have you ever been there?
No, I'm kind of jealous.
shut
so
up.
I want to go there.
It's
I
probably
really
the
wanna go.
Did you
coolest.
just say you were a kid when the YF-23 was flying?
he was.
I fucking
Yeah,
hate
he's
you.
a baby. He's a baby. Hey,
But
You
no,
were-
that
wait.
was always the highlight is going down to Dayton to see the museum because that museum is amazing. If you've never been there, you have to at least try to go there once in your life because they
gives
they
you a
have
freedom
everything.
boner when you walk in.
Well, they
right?
have the
You-
other Valkyrie that's in there, the one that didn't crash. That's in there. They have a whole like rocket exhibit now from like what were the first ones? Gemini program.
Stones. Yeah, Mercury and Gemini, yeah.
They have all those in there. They have Boxcar, the second B-29 to drop the atomic bomb that's in there. They just finished the Memphis Belle after
That's
15
cool.
years of restoring it because it sat out next to the river down in Memphis, Tennessee, and it just rotted away until they finally moved it to the Air Force Museum. And I was probably in middle school when they started that restoration, and they just finished it. So they took a long time to do it because they wanted to do it right. But
Did
it's
it
on
sit down by that big old Bass Pro Shop pyramid?
close to it.
You guys ever seen that?
It's pretty cool.
Aliens built it.
Have you ever been in there?
No, I
There's
want to.
there's a hotel in there. You can stay at the hotel in there at Bass Pro, and the river with all the trout and stuff is through the entire thing. It's massive. It's pretty neat. But yeah, they got a lot of cool exhibits in there. A couple of, like the early C-130s, a lot of the A4s. They have Colonel Olds, his F4 Phantoms in there. So they have a lot of historic pieces in there. That's pretty. The newest one was like a
20.
Suco 27 or the SU-27 that they restored. That's in the like Cold War exhibit. They have a bunch of like MiGs and stuff in there, and it's pretty neat.
Don't they have the bird of prey in there? That Boeing little thing?
Yep.
That thing is wild. That's crazy how that thing flies.
So my dad was telling me when they first came in with the F-117 and it still wasn't like declassed yet, they had it in the hangar and they had security forces around it, so you could get like within like 100 feet of it, and that was it. Couldn't take pictures or anything because they still hadn't like blacked out the windows and demilled everything, but it was just sitting in there. But there was like you had to get like background check to even go in that little exhibit to even see it. Like it was crazy, but that was pretty neat.
Speaking of historical things. What else did they keep where we do janitorial services besides the Valkyrie? What else was in there? Was a Hustler in there? Is that why they had the boxes named after that? Like, what else was in there? It had to be pretty big.
I know they had the
15s
flyouts
were in
there.
there for a while.
I thought 15s were next door where they're putting the new thing.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because when
I
I got
don't
on
know what else was
15s
in ours.
there, they had just moved from there down to Shadow.
I think 130s have been in there. I don't know what else has been in there. It flip flops all the time. Like each different compound, it goes to like a different thing. So I mean, there's who knows.
Yeah, I
at
was
this
just
point.
curious on what we kind of put
But
in there.
Goodyear
The
seen it.
Valkyries,
I have all
cool, I
the
think.
like original photos of the XB70 in that hangar.
That's so
really,
cool.
really nice stuff.
It's a 31 foot. It's 31 feet tall, bro. 31 feet tall, 296 feet long.
Well, if you ever make it to Goodyear's janitorial office, he has the original pamphlets
closet.
from
I'm gonna
North
go break
America.
in there. I'm gonna go break in there today. I'm gonna go steal them.
I had 2 or 3 of these, but I gave him one. It's the original pamphlet from North America, and that basically tells you what it is, like the dimensions of it and everything. It's basically like the brochure that they gave to the buyer. So yeah, he has it up in his office now. You're welcome.
I'm gonna go break in and steal them today.
Don't touch my shit.
You never know what'll happen. It wasn't me if it does happen. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've if you've ever been to the Flight Test Museum on Edwards, they only have a couple things on the XB70 there, but I thought about donating the rest of my stuff.
Oh, let me
that I
get one
have.
before you donate.
I have like 20 pieces of airmail that they flew on the first inaugural flight of the XB70. That's like certified. All the pilots signed it and stuff like that. I have a lot in that little green box. There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
All right, dudes. Hey, it's getting close to where I got to get ready and go to work and do stuff at work. Actually, I'm going to work today.
Never heard that
Call
before.
bullshit.
No, I'm going to work today. Dude, the weekend shift is a hard shift. Really tough.
Okay.
Really strains you.
Really, there's a lot of problems when you come in the next Monday.
Working hard at causing problems.
Yeah. It is
All right,
known
cool.
now when you come into work, it's like, guess what weekends did? Oh, great.
All right. Well, who's got a veteran program they want to talk about today? Anybody?
I don't have a
Come
veterans
on,
program,
dude.
but
You're
I
back.
have
You're back and you got nothing. That's your job.
Something for y'all. I got something for y'all. I don't know if you've covered it. There's a new service. I know it. We know it's available in California, not necessarily for veterans, but there's a new hotline to call for suicide prevention. It's 988. From what I've been told, it's actually pretty good. It's completely confidential. They're not trying to get your information. They're not trying to do anything other than talk you off the ledge and try to get you through the difficult time that you're having. I actually do know 2 people who have used it, and they absolutely raved about it being able to put them in a place where they were comfortable seeking help, which for a lot of people is probably one of the most difficult parts of getting better when life throws those things at you that you just feel like you can't recover from. So 988, just like 911, only it's focused specifically on suicide prevention.
That's awesome.
awesome.
I'm glad that there's something out there like that. Because you have that. There's a number like that to call if you're going to dig. You know what I mean? So this is very important to people. And, if you're having any issues, don't feel too prideful. Please just give it a call. See if it can help you out. Or give anybody around you a call. Because we hate to see friends go, right?
Yeah.
Or hear of friends or family. You know what I mean? So hit them up. Hit us up.
Yes.
All right. Well,
I just sniffled. I gotta edit that out.
well, thanks, Goodyear, for coming on. We've been talking about it for a while.
Sorry I was late, guys. I got hung up in class and I was going to regale you with stories of Key West that I partially remember and Canada TDYs. And
we can always come back next time.
Listen, you can always come back on, again, if you like to next week. If you want to, we can bring you on next week. If you want to come on.
Can't do next week. I'm going to be camping, but
you can do it.
He's slow.
You could do it from your camping
No
thing. Why not?
You
No.
think
It'll be
no?
fun. I'm gonna hate myself when I go to edit that, and I'm gonna be like, dude, I'm such a dumb. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get some food before I go to work. You know.
All right.
All right.
Where can
Thanks
you
for having me, guys.
wait? Where can you find us, bro? We're not pulling chalks yet. We haven't
Yes.
done any plugs yet.
Check us out, Buzzsprout, through Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, and then all the normal social medias on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Discord, Rumble, Patreon,
Grinder.
Grinder. I think that's all the lists I have.
Feet
That's
Finder.
a that's a new one. That's a new one.
I would have really enjoyed it
Wait,
more if
We're
you had said it.
piggybacking off of Red's profile from Grinder, so that's why
I
he had to
would've
shave his.
really-
That's why he had to shave his head.
I would have really enjoyed it more.
Got all
if
messy.
You, if you did like the coffee talk when you did it. That's what I think would have been better. But I'm not here to critique you, bro. You know what I mean?
You can't always get what you want.
Yeah.
That's right. Just like the song say. All right. Love you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Love you.
Chalk's out. Did somebody say that? Chalk's out?
Yeah, I did the
What is
chalk
that?
stop thing.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Bye.